Coming up, UNC faced off against Duke this weekend on the Diamonds, men's lacrosse opened up ACC play on Saturday, and the women's lacrosse team took on Boston College to determine which team is the best in the country. All this and more when Sports Extra starts right now, live from the Curtis Media Center.
Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Good morning, and a good morning it is. Charlie, I really think this weekend was one for the books.
That's right, Julia. Duke is out of the tournament. Women's lacrosse is #1 in the nation, and that pollen is finally supposed to stop. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Charlie Costal.
And I'm Julia Thompson. Let's jump right into the highlight of my weekend. In a top 2 women's lacrosse showdown at Dorrance Field on Saturday, the Tar Heels look to make a statement against the nation's #1 team and stay undefeated. North Carolina found themselves in an early hole as Boston College raced out to a 4-0 lead. But Marissa White stopped the bleeding with a rocket off the free position to put Carolina on the board. From there, UNC went to work, chipping away at the deficit. Freshman Eliza Osborne knotted it up late in the second with this slick dodge and finish. It was back and forth from that point on. In the second half, goalie Lexi Zank came in and stood strong, holding BC to just 4 goals with her 4 incredible saves. Osborne gave the Heels their first lead with 6.5 minutes left thanks to this quick split dodge and clutch finish, giving Carolina the edge they needed to take down the #1 team 12-11.
I mean, we kind of just feel it. We're ready to let people know and show them. But yeah, we're so confident with everyone in that locker room, and just pumped to, on alumni weekend, just kind of show people what we got. And yeah, we'll see them again, so no doubt about that.
So, Julia, this was a great win, and obviously it's time to celebrate, but UNC is likely to see BC once or twice more. So what do you think moving forward?
Well, I mean, first of all, to be the #1 team in the nation is huge, so congratulations to the team for that. But one thing I noticed against BC is that our draw controls really lacked. BC has Abby Harrod, and she was dominating in the circle. And I think that getting possession early is huge for a win. Obviously, this game was the exception. But to hear more about what went right and what went wrong for the Heels, we have our lacrosse analyst, Sophia Gray, for Ground Balls with Gray. Sophia?
Julia, thanks so much. It's no surprise this game didn't come easy, especially when UNC started off slow, trailing 4-0 in the opening minutes, their largest deficit of the season. If this game proves anything, it's the grit and fight the Tar Heels have, and it's plays like this right here that make North Carolina so special. After turning the ball over, Carolina's offense wouldn't give up on the play. They triple-teamed the BC goalie, who's going to force a pass quickly to this defender. The triple team's going to carry on over, and she's going to pass the ball over her teammate's head right into the stick of Caroline Godin for an open net goal. It's this willingness to never give up on the play that make this team the best in the country. And speaking of Caroline, she had a phenomenal game herself, earning a hat trick. Let's take a look at her last goal. Ashley Humphrey's going to initiate the play right here. She's going to pass to her sister, Chloe, at X. Now, Chloe has her head up. She's going to notice Caroline open in the middle of the 8. She's going to quickly pass to her, and Caroline's going to finesse the ball in the back of the net before the BC goalie had time to fully reset. That goal was the definition of awareness and quick execution, and it gave UNC the momentum they needed. But it wasn't just the offense that stepped up. Goalie Lexi Zank entered in the second half and was a beast, holding the nation's top scoring offense to just 4 goals. As we're going to see here, Boston College did a great job with constant movement, quick passes, trying to confuse our defenders. But they didn't throw many fakes at Lexi, which allowed her to read the shots clearly. And she's going to stuff the Eagles time and time again. We're going to see it again right here. The BC attacker is going to run in, but she's not going to change the level of her stick. No fake, no hesitation, which gives Lexi the time to track it and make another incredible save. From relentless rides to clutch saves, this team does it all. And if Saturday proved anything, it's that the Heels aren't just undefeated, they have the talent to be unstoppable.
Sophia, you are our lacrosse expert. What adjustments do you think the team needs to make to finish the season strong and make a deep run in the NCAA tournament.
I mean, you mentioned it earlier, Julia. I mean, the Tar Heels have 3 games left, their toughest one being the team down the road. But I think they just need to work on draw controls and possession to make a far run in the tournament.
Thank you so much, Sophia.
UNC men's lacrosse took on UVA on Saturday to open ACC play. The Heels came out ready to fight as freshman Caden Harshbarger scored a quick goal in the first few seconds of the game, his first of the season. In the second quarter, the Heels were tied with the Cavaliers until Dominic Petramala put up this massive goal. He scored again just seconds later for his 4th goal of the game. Owen Duffy and Ryan Levy followed close behind, each scoring 3 goals. Ty English finished the day with 2 caused turnovers, including this one. The final score was Carolina 18, Virginia 9.
Charlie, I know it's been a busy weekend, but do you have plans tonight?
Well,
it doesn't matter because we were going to talk about the Derby, but we don't have to because it got postponed. So we'll come back to that on our next show. And speaking of baseball, after winning Game 1 on Thursday, the Diamond Heels look to sew up the series against Duke on Friday. Game 2 had all the makings of a classic with early momentum swings. The Heels jumped ahead early with a 2-run double from Jackson Vanderbrake and a solo homer from Gavin Gallagher. But Duke's bat stayed hot, tallying 14 hits, UNC's most allowed all season. Hunter Stokely's 2 RBI single gave Carolina life late, but it wasn't enough to overcome Duke's surge. The Heels fall 9-5.
In Game 3 on Saturday, Stevenson sparked the flame with this homer to left field. Although the Heels were playing hard, a little help from the Blue Devils made things all the easier. Madera singled to first, putting Hargett on second and sending Bass all the way home. Another error by the Blue Devils in the bottom of the 8th sent Bass home again, making it 7-4 Heels. The Blue Devils didn't let up though, scoring 3 runs in the top of the 9th to tie it at 7. After back and forth missed chances, the 2 teams battled for 5 extra innings. But a bad hop over the Blue Devils' second baseman's head brought Bass home yet again for a walk-off Tar Heel victory, 8-7. Heels win the series 2-1.
We also talked about more guys will get their opportunities. And I thought those 4 guys, I mean, to put up that many zeros against that lineup was impressive.
Charlie, playing Duke means a big weekend. What do you think about the game Saturday?
Honestly, Saturday's game was something out of a movie. They blew a 3-run lead late in the 9th. They could have just keeled over right there, but they didn't. They held out for 14 innings. We also saw a lot of sack plays from Hargett and Vanderbrake with laydown bunts, and a return on investment from a switch up in the batting order. I think seeing Vanderbrake a lot higher really helped the team out, and it contributed to the win this weekend.
Absolutely.
But the Diamond Heels aren't the only ones facing off against the Blue Devils. The softball Heels had a 3-game series of their own, but in enemy territory. In Game 1, Alex Coleman and Sanaa Thompson came to play, scoring 2 in the first. But Duke turned up the heat in the second, scoring 3. The Blue Devils kept the pressure on, bringing 5 runners across the plate in the 4th inning alone. The Heels showed some signs of life thanks to Carly Myrtle, who smashed a solo home run out of the park in the top of the 5th. But Duke held strong, taking the victory 11-3.
Duke came out strong on Friday, notching 5 doubles in the first. Shelby Barbie answered back with a solo home run in the second. The Heels stormed back to life in the 4th, scoring 5 runs, sparked by Reagan Carlson's RBI to bring Kat Rodriguez home. Carly Myrtle would capitalize as well, bringing Alex Coleman and Lexi Roberts across the plate. Reagan Carlson would put the Heels up on the Blue Devils 7-6 with another RBI to bring Kiwi Pierce home. Duke would put another 5 runs on the board late in the 5th, putting the game out of reach. The Blue Devils took the game 14-7.
In the final game of the series, the Heels came out swinging with 2 players on base in the first inning, including a Kiana Pierce double. They were unable to continue that momentum, leaving the game scoreless until the Blue Devils took control. Duke's Anna Gold drilled one to left field, sending in Tessa Malaulu. The Devils continued to shut down the Heels, scoring in the 4th and 5th and keeping the Heels to 0 runs. The Heels beat UNC 3-0, sweeping them in the series. So our softball analyst Alden Archdeacon predicted a Carolina series win, but the Heels got swept decisively. Alden, what went wrong?
Thanks, Charlie. I'm only smiling because they let me back in the building today and back on air, because after my analysis last Friday and it being basically totally wrong, I'm just happy to be here. But let's take a look at why the softball team had an off day this whole weekend. Let's start with at the plate for the Blue Devils. Here they are at the top of the lineup. They just hit a little blooper into the outfield, kind of that dead man zone, and nobody can get there. Really no one's fault on that one on UNC's front. And then Amina Vega, someone we talked about on Friday, probably the only thing I got right, which is here the Blue Devils get out early. She hits a line drive to left center field and drives in a run. The Heels will go on to score 2 more runs that inning. And really the Heels, they just couldn't catch back up. They put themselves in a hole, and it's hard to get out of it. On top of it, we had a lot of infield miscues. Starting with right here, Britton Rogers is going to get a slap hit right at her. She's going to field it pretty cleanly, and then she's going to throw it to first base. It's not a great throw, and then Carly Myrtle can't hang on. That's an error. We had 4 on the weekend. And then here we have it again. Kenneray Dark then is at the mound. She's going to throw a pretty good pitch, but it's going to be a hard hit ball to third. We can't field that. We got to get that 19 times out of 20 if we want to be a really great team. And then it gets past us, allows a runner on first to get to third, and then the hitter to get to first base. I mean, it was a rough weekend, but who am I to say, all right? Like, I'm lucky to call myself an analyst anymore. But we got to be a goldfish, in the words of Ted Lasso, have a 10-second memory, and put this weekend behind us. Charlie?
So, Coach Lasso, what does this loss mean for the Heels moving forward?
Well, I think it was a reality check. We got outscored 28-10. We're now 1-8 against ranked teams, being outscored 64-24. Right now, the Heels just aren't they're a good team. They're not a great team.
Thanks, Alden. It's been a weekend full of rivalry on the Diamonds. So Julia is here to break down all the reactions from online. Julia?
Thanks, Charlie. Listen, I am the first to express my dislike towards Duke, sorry. But others actually are a little more creative than me. So let's take it to the best social media reactions I've seen so far. Starting off not so strong, we have Jay Williams. Poor Jay, I hope you feel better soon. I know allergy season is ending this week. And how sad are these poor Duke fans? I mean, to get that far ahead and choke must be pretty disappointing. And to all of our gamblers, stay safe out there. Next time, do not bet on either of the teams down Tobacco Road. Clearly, we are causing people to lose some money. But all in all, Dee, I agree. The birds were chirping and the sun was shining Sunday morning because the Blue Devils are headed home to Durham. Charlie?
Thanks, Julia. It's time for this week's trivia, and of course, it's NCAA tournament themed. This year was just the second time all 4 final teams were #1 seeds. So our question for you is, when was the first time this happened? Was it 2008, 2000, or 1992? Stay tuned to hear the answer right after the break. And coming up next on Sports Extra, Carolina's gymnastics team went to Alabama to showcase their talents at regionals. And our reporter Ellie Bowman sails us through learning about a club team here at UNC. And here are our picks for the NCAA Men's National Championship game tonight. All that and more coming up after the break.
Did you know that approximately 9 million people in the U.S. alone vape? Let's make that 9 million and 1. We're Super Nick Ultimate Long Spaceship Limited XD Pro Deluxe Max 2000 2.4, and we have what you didn't know you needed. Our vapes are made with 100% natural ingredients, including fruit extracts, metal, lead, car exhaust.
Cut. What did we say about the natural ingredients line?
And if you buy our new Cotton Cancer, you can get our special edition Popcorn Love. Our product is proven to cause erectile dysfunction.
Cures erectile dysfunction.
Are you tired of living your best life? Want to feel anxious, out of touch, and depressed?
Cut! Are you even reading the script?
Why lose just one lung when you can lose two? Do you want to die?
Cut. Like just cut. Just cut.
Welcome back to Sports Extra. As we all know, it's that time of the year where many of our sports are competing in their final games.
That's right, Charlie. Wrestling and swim and dive finished up just a few weeks ago, and now gymnastics is entering their championship season. UNC Gymnastics flipped into the NCAA Regionals competition in Tuscaloosa on Friday. The Heels competed against Alabama, Florida, Cal, Oregon, NC State, Iowa, and Clemson. Jojo Valahovic and Gwen Fink showed out on beam with 9.9s, giving UNC the second best team score of the season on the beam with a 49.325. Finishing the first session in third, the Heels placed 6th overall in the Tuscaloosa region. The Heels ranked in the top 25 for the 4th time in program history, marking a great end to a great season. Let's take it to Chalk Talk with Kate McCullough to hear more. Kate?
Julia, the Heels put up some tough scores to beat, but it comes down to the little things, as simple as pointing your foot. Our ACC Newcomer of the Year, Jojo Valahovic, scored one of the highest beam scores for UNC at regionals, and it all came down to her calmness and confidence. UNC had a lot of minor slip-ups through the events, but Valahovic truly locked in for this routine. So let's take a look. She does a back handspring step out into a layout step out, very light on her feet here, making it almost look effortless. And she continues this throughout the routine, as we'll skip ahead a little bit here to her leaps. She is quick to pull her legs up, point her toes. She is pushing through the point of her foot every time she lands on the beam to make sure it's as light as possible. From our standout freshman to our standout senior, Isabel Schaefer, the leader of bars with a 9.850. Schaefer is a consistent athlete. Her highest score on bars at a collegiate level has been a 9.925, which she's achieved 7 times. Schaefer was an individual qualifier for bars last season, so she knows what's up, and it shows in her routine. Let's watch a bit of her routine here. One thing about Schaefer is she knows how to create these impressive lines with her body. You can see as she does a kip up into a cast handstand. I mean, that is a perfect line. And also notice how her legs are glued together, making it almost impossible for the judges to deduct any points from her score for a leg separation. I mean, her athleticism is admirable, and the amount of core strength this must take is impressive. Overall, this has been an incredibly successful season for the Heels, and although the season is now over, we are sure to achieve new milestones in the coming seasons.
Kate, are there any final highlights of the season that stood out to you?
Absolutely. I have to give credit to Dana Durante for being the backbone of the team, and she shared ACC Coach of the Year honors with California's co-head coaches. And I have to mention Lolly Decanoidza with that perfect 10 during ACC championships. She was crowned 2025's regular season All-American. And all around, this team continues to reach for perfection and even sometimes reaches it.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to next season. Thanks, Kate. While Alyssa Utsby played her last game as a Tar Heel, you haven't seen the last of her yet. Utsby will take to the floor on Sunday when she plays alongside and against the nation's best seniors and grad students in the 2025 Lilly Women's College All-Star Game in Tampa. She walked away from Carolina with 1,269 career rebounds, setting a school record, and will proudly represent Carolina once again. So, Charlie, we have a lot of exciting portal updates. I'm going to start with the women's side because we're talking about Alyssa Utsby. I mean, that's a huge gap to fill. Having her gone is going to be a big deal. But we have Nyla Harris from Louisville. She is a former 4-star recruit, and she is the final portal recruit for the women's basketball team. She started 32 of 33 games last season for the Cardinals, and she is going to be a powerhouse. I think everyone's really excited to have her, but let's talk about the men's side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to see how she plays for the women's team. But on the men's side, most notably, we got Jonathan Powell from West Virginia. He averaged 8.3 points and 3 rebounds. He was most comfortable from the right side bend of the arc, posting a 35% on the three-point percentage. He wasn't a major force for West Virginia, but I think he's the type of player that could really blend well with Ian Jackson and Drake Powell. His shooting with their slashing could be a force for the Heels. And another player that we got, Henry Vesar from Arizona. He was the number 8 center at the time that he was recruited. He's a strong finisher. He's got the ability to drive and score through contact. He's also a big fan of the lob, which Carolina started to incorporate towards the end of the season there. So I'm excited to see how he contributes alongside paint players like Van Allen Lubin.
It's going to be a really exciting season. I mean, I'm not going to be here because I'm graduating, but you bet I will be cheering everyone on. Let's talk about tonight's championship game, Charlie. It's a big one. What are your predictions? What are you feeling?
So I've talked about this on the show before. I've had a rough go at the bracket this year. I only got one Final Four correct, and it was Florida, so I have to go Florida. I don't think Houston's got what it takes, and just for the sake of keeping my bracket at least a little bit alive, I'm going with Florida.
Well, not all of us can be as smart as me, who had all 4 Final Four picks correct and the championship picks correct. Let's go. I am rooting for the Gators to win, as my nephew James would say, chomp, chomp.
Chomp, chomp.
8th-ranked women's tennis brought their Carolina Blue to the West Coast for their final 2 away games of the season. First up was number 25-ranked Stanford. In doubles, Carson Tangling and Lindsay Zink handled their match with ease, while the power duo of Reese Brantmeyer and Alanis Hamilton initially struggled but fought back to secure the early lead for the Heels. UNC went up 2-0 due to a retirement in the number 6 singles. But Hamilton dropped the first set, and thanks to hustle plays like this, she found her offensive rhythm and completed the comeback. Finally, Tatum Evans held off her opponent to help UNC chop down those trees in a 4-0 Carolina victory.
In the weekend's second match, the Heels jumped to an early lead against number 16 Cal after locking down the doubles point. Singles wins from Claire Hill and Carson Tangleague pushed the momentum, and with the pressure on, Reese Brantmeyer delivered at the top court. The 7th-ranked Tar Heels clinched the 4-2 win, closing out their California road trip in style.
In California, our Carolina men's tennis team fell short against, 9th-ranked Stanford on Friday evening. The Cardinals took down the Heels 4-0 and caught an early start with doubles partners Alex Rosangi and Max Basing conquering Tar Heels. Dennis Permove and Nick Mangiapane 6-1. Against number 10 ranked Cal Berkeley on Sunday, the Heels were missing key singles players Konstantinos Chikaris along with Patrick Schoen and Logan Zapp. UNC's Vladislav Melnik and Chris Shu competed in doubles, losing 6-3. Cal took down the Heels 4-0.
Sailing might not be the first sport you'd expect on a college campus, as it's often seen as just for coastal towns or country clubs. But the UNC club sailing team is changing that narrative, welcoming students from all backgrounds, no boat or experience needed. Ellie Bowman shows us how they're making waves this season.
At UNC, sailing isn't just for seasoned athletes. This club is helping students from all backgrounds learn the ropes. Literally. The team is structured for everyone, from total beginners to competitive racers. The commissioner of SASA, the organization which oversees college sailing across the Southeast, Dana Magliola says UNC's approach reflects what makes college sailing so unique.
College sailing is one of those special places where you can come into our sport and learn the sport without having a whole lot of experience. And after college, you'll see those same people sailboat racing for the rest of their life.
And that's exactly what UNC's team is doing. Welcoming beginners, creating friendships, and turning weekend races into lifelong memories. New member Caden Cavanaugh had never raced before and discovered the club by scrolling through Heel Life. Now he's found himself a part of the team he never expected to join.
I've only really been sailing for 6-7 months now. Having something so affordable and accessible is really cool at UNC.
And while the club is built for beginners, it also gives experienced sailors a way to stay connected. Sophomore May Proctor didn't come to UNC for sailing, but she's been doing it nearly her whole life. Now Proctor says the club gives her a chance to keep doing what she loves, while forming new connections along the way. As the team continues to grow, club president Runyon Tyler says they're working to expand their impact, starting with hosting UNC's first ever regatta.
We've been present as a club for many years, but we've yet to host a regatta and give back to the state's organization.
And by adding a coach and formal practices, he hopes to take the team to the next level. Whether you're a seasoned racer or a first-time sailor, UNC Club Sailing offers you the chance to learn, compete, and be a part of a supportive crew. I'm Ellie Bowman reporting.
I'm from an island town back home, so I've done a little bit of sailing in my day, but I think I have to rekindle those flames because that certainly looks like a lot of fun. But you know what else is a lot of fun? Monday trivia. I know it's what you've all been waiting for. So the answer of the last time all #1 seeds made it to the Final Four was 2008, when Kansas, Memphis, North Carolina, and UCLA were all there. And fun fact, while UNC didn't have the best performance this year, they still have the most Final Four appearances of any program with 21.
Thanks, Charlie. UNC's track team was off to the races at High Point University this weekend for the vert classy meet. The heels throwers were all-around stars with shot putter Tommy Kitchell throwing 19.09 meters, setting the meet and facility record. Skylar Bowman placed second in women's discus. It's safe to say that the heels really threw down. UNC shined at the Augusta Haskins Invitational, finishing 4th as a team. But the headline belongs to David Ford. The Tar Heel star birdied the first playoff hole to clinch the individual title and earn a spot in the 3M Open on the PGA Tour. The women's rowing team wrapped up a tough weekend at the Rocky Top Invite. The heels initially struggled in the 2v4 and 3v8 boats, but managed to place 3rd in their races. In the finals, the heels came back as the V8 and 1v4 boats won their races. The team finished 4th.
It's everyone's favorite time of the week. That's right, it's time to take a look at this week's contenders for Play of the Week. First up, we have shortstop Alex Madera, who makes a double play, stepping on second and launching the ball to first for the 27th out of the game and the win against Duke. And next up is this play from Caroline Godine, who takes advantage of an urgent pass and drives it home for an open net goal to cut Boston College's lead in half. Head over to our Instagram to vote for your favorite play of the week. You know, Julia, it is certainly a bad day to be a Blue Devil, which means that it is a fantastic day to be a Tar Heel.
I mean, obviously, I feel the same way if you watch my reaction segment. But Charlie, you know what else is a great day? Tomorrow, because it's your birthday. It's also our wonderful Riley's birthday. So if you see either of them on campus, make sure to wish them a good day. That does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
We'll be back on Friday with a preview of another exciting weekend of Carolina athletics.